Hey everybody, today I'm going to be talking about dollar cost averaging. Now, if you haven't already done so, I would encourage you to check out my other videos about stocks and bonds and mutual funds, just so that you have a better understanding of how mutual funds work. Because today, as I talk about dollar cost averaging, I'm actually going to be referring to a mutual fund and the activity in a mutual fund over time. So if you don't have a good understanding of how mutual funds work, I encourage you again to at least watch the video about mutual funds and how they work. Um, so with that being said, let's go and get started. Today, obviously, I'm going to be talking about dollar cost averaging. And in case you're wondering what that is exactly, I have an example here to kind of illustrate what it is. All right. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a look at one specific mutual fund. It's this one right here. It's SWPPX. It's a mutual fund that tracks the S&P 500 index. So, anytime you hear somebody say, "Oh, the markets are down" or "the markets are up today," they're probably referring to the S&P 500 index and maybe a couple of other indices. Now, what this mutual fund does is it attempts to track that S&P 500 index. Whatever the index does, this mutual fund should do as well. So a lot of people use this fund to invest in, for retirement or for different things, but they're hoping that their money's going to grow over time. So they're investing in this fund to make money. All right. Now, I'm only going to be taking a look at this specific fund, so I just want to let you know that. But anyway, we're going to take a person who's investing $100 a month. All right. And they're going to invest $100 a month into this mutual fund, SWPPX. So what I've done is I've basically listed January, February, March, April, and May, the months so far this year in 2022 that we've already pretty much wrapped up. So what's going to happen is we're going to take a look at a person who's investing at the beginning of each month and see what happens to their money. So January 1st, the cost of this mutual fund, by the way, it's called an NAV. NAV stands for net asset value. So the NAV is basically the price that you pay to buy the mutual fund, to buy shares of the mutual fund. So the NAV at the beginning of January was $73.41. Okay? And what this person did was they invested $100 into this mutual fund. So by investing $100, they were able to purchase 1.36 shares of this mutual fund. You follow me so far? Okay. Now in February, the NAV of this mutual fund was $69.64. Again, they invested $100 into this mutual fund, and they were able to buy 1.44 shares of this mutual fund. Now, if you notice, for the rest of the months, they're investing in $100 every single month. That's what dollar cost averaging is about. You invest the same amount every single month, or whatever the period is. Usually it's going to be every month, but you invest the same amount every single month, and I'll show you what that ends up doing. It's a positive thing when you do that. So continuing on here, in March, the NAV was $66.06. They invested $100, which means they bought 1.51 shares of the mutual fund. And you'll notice that over those first 3 months, January, February, and March, the price has been going down. So the market's been going down. All right. A lot of people think, oh my gosh, the markets are going down. Do I get rid of what I have? This is not good. So those thoughts tend to creep into people's minds, right? But if you notice, as the NAV gets lower and lower and lower through March, this is at its lowest point in March, you're buying more and more shares. So that's a good thing, because you basically what you're doing is you're saying, okay, well, um, I'm going to continue investing $100. Okay, I'm going to stay true to my strategy, true to my plan, and by doing so, I'm buying more shares because they're cheaper. It's like going to the store and saying, "Oh, there's a discount for this. Let me go ahead and buy this." You're basically buying shares at a discount because the price is lower than it normally is. Well, let's move on. Let's take a look at April. The price goes back up to $69.82. You're still investing $100, so you buy 1.43 shares. It's less than in March, but it's still something, right? And then notice in May, this is the lowest price it has been at. $63.88 is the NAV. So you still invest $100, and notice this is the biggest number yet. 1.57 shares that you've purchased by investing $100. So when the prices go down, the amount of shares that you purchase goes up. That's the benefit of dollar cost averaging. You're staying true to your strategy. You're not changing how much you invest based on what the market does. You're not saying, oh, well, the market's doing worse in February, so I'm going to invest less. Or it's doing even worse in March, I'm going to invest less, or I'm going to take my money out. So that's not what you want to do. You want to stay true to your strategy, continue investing the same amount of money, and when you do that, you end up buying more shares at a discounted rate. All right, hopefully that makes sense. That's how dollar cost averaging works. So now what I want to do is I want to show you what happens over time. So let me flip this over. Okay, so this is basically what has happened over those first 5 months of 2022. In January, you bought 1.36 shares of this mutual fund. You bought 1.44 shares of the mutual fund in February, 1.51 in March, 1.43 in April, 1.57 in May. Okay, let's just say yesterday was May the 27th. Let's just say you've been noticing the price hasn't been going up, it's not doing that great, and you decided to take your money out. You decided to get out of the mutual fund, okay? Just because you were concerned that, it's not doing that great and you just felt like taking the money out. So let's just say you do that, all right? Well, you had 7.31 shares that you purchased over these 5 months, all right? And what you do, whenever you sell mutual fund shares, you sell at the NAV, the net asset value. So whatever the price is at the end of the day yesterday, that's the price that you sell the shares at. So you take 7.31 shares is how many you owned, and you multiply it by 64.03, which is the price of the mutual fund yesterday, and that equals about $468. So that $468 is how much money you made on the transaction. So you're thinking, okay, great. I had enough. The market's been going down. It hasn't been doing that great. I took my money out. Let's see how I did. Well, you had $468 that you made, but if you notice, you actually invested a total of $500. Total invested was $500. So you started with, you invested $500 over the past 5 months, but you only made $468 when you sold all those shares, which means you actually lose $32. So you have less money now than you did when you started. That's not good. You don't want to do that when you invest. You want to have more money than when you started, right? So the whole point of this, the whole point of sharing this is when you use dollar cost averaging, you stay true to your plan. You continue investing $100 every month, no matter what the market does, no matter what the price of your mutual fund is doing. Especially if the market's down, if the markets are going down and you are staying true to your strategy, you're still investing the same amount of money every month, regardless of what the markets are doing, and what's happening with your share price, the NAV, you're actually going to purchase more shares. You're going to buy more shares. You're going to get more bang for your buck. And if you do that over time, let's just say, we're in May right now, right? It's May 27th. Let's just say, 1 or 2 years down the road, because you have that amount of time to wait. Say 1 or 2 years down the road, the NAV is back up to $80. If it's back up to $80, let's see here, you're going to keep on buying more shares no matter what happens to the market. If it goes up and down like a roller coaster, you're buying more shares. When it's at 80 and you decide to sell it, well, you've been buying shares this whole time that has been in the 70s and the 60s primarily. And then let's say it gets to 80, you're gonna have more money then than you had when you started. So it's going to benefit you to hold on to the shares and keep on investing this $100 a month. Keep doing that. So that's the whole point of dollar cost averaging. You're taking a dollar amount, $100 in this case, and the average cost of the shares that you're buying is actually decreasing. So it's the whole point of making this video is to let you know that by using dollar cost averaging, you're taking advantage of no matter what happens in the market, whether the market goes up or the market goes down. You're definitely taking advantage of when the market goes down. So personally, I won't get into this too much because this is not about dividends, but whenever companies share prices go down, stock prices go down, and they're paying dividends, I get happy because I know that my dividends are going to, as I reinvest my dividends, I'm going to get a bigger bang for my buck because cheaper prices, higher dividends, better for me, more money in my pocket. So it's actually a good thing when prices go down because you're buying more and more and more and more at those cheaper prices. Hopefully that makes sense. It's just like if you go to the store and you see a discount, like if you go to Costco, for example, and you're like, hey, I really need this one item and it's at a discount right now. It's at a really cheap price. So you buy a bunch of it and then you have all that stuff and then all of a sudden the price goes up, it skyrockets. And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I bought that stuff when it was cheap because now it's gone up in value. That's how dollar cost averaging works. That's the same effect that dollar cost averaging has on investing. You buy things when they're cheap, when prices go down. You don't want to get out of the market when prices go down. You actually want to do the opposite. You want to buy when the markets are down. So by dollar cost averaging, you can ensure that you're going to continue to buy when the market's down. And then when it goes up and you're ready to sell, you're going to sell at a higher price point than when you bought everything. So that's the name of the game. That's how investing works. You want to buy low and sell high. So anyway, that's it about dollar cost averaging. I hope this makes sense to you. And, I encourage you to do some research on dollar cost averaging if you want to learn more about it and see how it works from a different perspective. But hopefully this video makes sense and it helps you. Hopefully it provides provides you some solace in this down market that we're experiencing right now with the stock market. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, a positive day. Hope this video and all the information that I covered in it positively impacts your life. And that's it. So as always, thank you for watching. Like, comment, share if you feel like it benefited you so that you can share it with somebody else and it can benefit them. And that's it. So signing out for now. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.